Two things to say at the end. This isn't just what we have to do in Britain. This, in one form or another, is what we have to do across the world. And it's not a trick. It's not because socialists care, really we care about the working class, and really we care about jobs, and really we don't care about the environment. So we're jumping on a bandwagon and we got a trick. It's not that at all. We were arguing for this in the SWP before the credit crunch hit. This is a thing that we will have to do no matter what the state of the world economy. But the state of the world economy makes it suddenly far easier to argue in the working class. To be concrete, in Ghana, in the last 3 years, in Ghana, the rains have gone ski-whip fucked. It's either floods or it's drought across most of northern Ghana and well into southern Ghana now. The Sahel has moved south for the last 3 years. What are the farmers who no longer have enough for their children to eat? What are they to do in Ghana? They are to fight. For the people who did this to them, ExxonMobil and the government of the United States and British Petroleum and Shell, those people, to pay for them to have wages to build concentrated solar power in that enormous sunlight. We have to fight for this all over the world. And the reason that we have to do it, yes, we need the jobs. I was unemployed for 6 months as a young man a very long time ago. It broke my marriage. I know it did, looking back. It's going to happen to a lot of people. And you know, mental illness and madness and depression and all the things that happen with unemployment. And starvation that happens with unemployment in some places. These things matter. But we've also got to do it because something else matters even more. If we're come to abrupt climate change, we know it's there waiting for us because the drilling down through the glaciers in Greenland and Antarctica and New Zealand and Chile has told us that when the world warmed before, it warmed very slowly, in step with slow carbon dioxide rise for quite a long time, and then suddenly there was an explosion in the temperature and in carbon dioxide, almost always in 20 years or less. The last change at the end of the last ice age. The change from the ice age to the kind of temperature it was in the year I was born, that change, half of that change happened in 3 years. That's what the Greenland data say. We know that because out there somewhere are feedbacks waiting. The scientists are still debating what the feedbacks are that matter. But we know that there are feedbacks, and then we'll have very abrupt climate change. Look what the world did with the famine in Ethiopia and the famine in Darfur. Look what the world did with the flood, those are climate change events. Look what they did with the climate change event of the worst cyclone ever in Burma. Look what they did with the climate change event that put half of Bangladesh underwater 2 years ago. Look what the government of the richest country of the world did after Hurricane Katrina. Think if we have all of those coming together, many of them coming together at the same time all over the world, what we will see first of all is when the rains fail in some places. In the places it doesn't happen, the prices will go up in the supermarket and we will tighten our belts. In the places where it does happen, millions and millions of people will starve. And epidemics will follow in the wake of that. Because we live in capitalism. There will be hundreds of millions of refugees. And refugees in a different world might be welcomed into a new home and given new schools and welcomed into a new country. But in our world, refugees come up against borders patrolled by armed men and women with machine guns. And the refugee camps stretch for miles and for years. And climate change, abrupt climate change, will mean war. Because if you change the balance of geographic and power, the great powers and the small powers of the world will go to war to restore it. We are living now through the wars for oil, and we will live through the wars for water. The effect of that on humanity, hundreds of millions of us will die, but nobody knows how many. But then we are the dominant species on the planet. We will pick up and carry on. We will pick up and carry on with degraded societies. With societies where people are changed by what they have to do and what they have to witness to survive the terrible time. We will pick up. The scientists' guess is that between 30% and 70% of the species on the face of the planet will be made extinct. That's what the stakes are. That's why we have to fight. And we have the opportunity to fight now because of the economic crisis in a way we have not been able to fight before. If we get all those jobs, it will not solve the economic crisis. I will come back to that, but at least we'll have a hell of a lot more jobs while their profits are having some trouble. But the really important thing is what it does for humanity and for every living thing on the planet. Get out there and do it.